Hey, Ron, good morning. Look who's here. Look
Good
who's here.
morning. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Ron. How are you?
Great. Good to
Hap-
see you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Good to be here.
Well, I wish we were meeting on a happier day because our hearts really have to hear the voices of all of the people in LA and what they are going through. But it really points out the importance of what AI and Ron has really helped me develop in the mastermind effect that AI has helped me develop to create a win-win-win-win scenario with Nourish and Network and networking. And now, Stephanie, I don't know if you know much about it, but we'll talk about it. But I create Nourish and Network to hold networking events and promote them at food sharing centers, but also at Red Cross events now. I'm going to add that to the mix so that the win-win that really AI masterminding came up with is, and a friend of mine recently invited me to network or to really to just do a shift, a volunteer shift at the food bank. And I went, wow, this is like hands-on helping and the perfect place to network. It provided a facility.
Wow.
It was beautiful. So the win-win, and Ron and I have been kind of talking about it and investigating it, all based on the effect that Napoleon Hill wrote about in Think and Grow Rich, that wherever two masterminds or gather entrepreneurs, there a third brain kind of mastermind comes. And I've been able to do that with AI, and that's really how that mastermind through AI is what really came up with the nearly perfect networking, and that's where it came from. And I was thinking, Ron, that with all of my background training as a documentarian researcher at NBC, if and I was on the case of finding the answer to nearly perfect networking. If I was Sherlock Holmes, then you were my Dr. Watson, because Ron has been brilliant in really helping me clarify what I do with AI. So that being said, that's the overview. It's an exciting launch of 2025. I did share a overview from two world-class pros that Stephanie has reviewed. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, Stephanie. But what I really want to do is I want to, and I realize that everything is digitization. That's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Is digit is about digital digitization. That's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, digitization. So I came up with the term of AI digitizes. It's a great domain. It's easy to remember. It's a verb of action. And that really is essentially what AI does and kind of the world that we are living in. Basically, what I want to do is I want to, and like Patch is digitized news. We used to get newspapers on our front porch, right? But now it's digitized it. And that's how we get it. So what I really want to do, ideally, is to use each one of you as examples and really promote you as part of this kind of mastermind, this to think bigger and grow richer with AI, and the win-win-win situation that it all presents to all of us in 2025 moving forward. And the LA fires just show how there but for the grace of God go I. No matter how you could be Billy Crystal, a big Hollywood celebrity living large, and all of a sudden you're in need of help. So the timing is perfect, and I think the need is intense. And I think we can really help ourselves by helping others, because it's all based on people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And to be able to use Nourish and Network events is a great way to create motivation for more volunteerism at Nourish and Networking events. So everybody wins,
Mhm.
and that's the overview. So I wanted to welcome you guys, and I've been working really long and hard to prepare really for today as just an organization meeting, because that's all this is. And let me shut up now, and because I'm so
Fine.
so I don't know, inspired, but also focused on, what's happening in LA, which is just overwhelming and just mind-boggling. It's like a movie. It's hard to really get our minds around the reality of it for me. So anyway,
Right. No, my daughter lives down there in Brentwood, and they're packed and ready to evacuate if needed. So I'm got a first, daily account from a daughter who I'm worried about. So she's supposed to be coming up here this weekend, and it's looking like she's going to have to cancel. So yeah, it's scary. It's terrible time. So but no better time than to start this for sure.
yeah. Because I talked to my friend down there and I said, well, the media always overplays everything. And he goes, He goes, this is really, really bad. Anyway, Ron, welcome.
Thank you.
So Ron is already really, really tuned into the mastermind effect of Think and Grow Rich, Ron. So maybe you could kind of talk a little bit about that and what your experience and research with it has been.
Stephanie, are you familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich?
I am not. I am not. No. I mean, I've heard of it through Mike. I have not. I've not read it. No.
Okay, I think it's one of those classics. It was written in the 1930s, I think, and it's still a bestseller. But there's this concept that Napoleon Hill came up with or explained that when two or more people come together, there is a third mind which is present. For example, let's say if you and I and Mike are, well, here's a good example in this discussion, and specifically when Mike and I get together and we'll talk about different areas of what he's working on. And then I'll come up with an idea, or Mike will come up with an idea that I would not have thought of on my own. So just
Yep.
through that interchange, our two minds mesh together.
The
Now,
melding of the minds make a third mind. Yeah, that makes sense.
that's only one chapter in Think and Grow Rich, but I would definitely encourage you to get the audiobook or read the book because it is definitely a classic of one of the all-time bestsellers in personal development.
Do you know if it's on Audible?
Well, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'm gonna get it. That'll be good on my runs. I like to listen to
Oh, that's
self-help
perfect.
books, so that'll be good. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
Mike talks about podcast listening, so that's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I will do it. I will report back.
Yeah, it is the most persistent path to success that I believe that has probably ever existed. Maybe the science of getting rich, which maybe precedes it, but persistently Think and Grow Rich. I was introduced to it, and it really sparked my brain immediately when I was an NBC page in New York. Another page that I met introduced me to the book Think and Grow Rich. And then he and I immediately created the Johnny Carson talk show game from reading that book. I mean, that was what inspired us. And then we ended up getting into Johnny Carson's office, playing the game with him, and it was just an amazing. I have it over here on my bookshelf, so it was just an amazing experience. But that's the kind of creativity that comes out of that mastermind effect and action. And that's what I like about AI digitizes. It's a verb that talks about, and you talked about Stephanie, digitization of reputation.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you learned from that course that I sent you.
Yeah, they use that term a lot, and at first I wasn't really grasping it, but it's basically taking the ability to massively expose your
At scale.
to scale, yes, at scale, your reputation. I mean, I'm dumbing it down, but and that's the whole thing about branding, right? Is you want to get it out there and get people familiar with it. When they see it, they know it's you, and they immediately correspond it to trust. I mean, that's what real estate agents really, that's what we're trying to be known for, is trust and competency and all that. And if you can have a reputation as such and take it and use social media, AI, all that to leverage it up to scale it, then you can't lose. So it really resonated with me, that term. It took me a second to kind of grasp it, but now I get it, and I want to use it.
That's where I believe the world is going. So what I would like to turn these Friday meetings into, in order to promote you two and everybody else that wants to attend, is to have watch parties on Friday. Now, for example, I posted a patch ad about this, but I get that patch is one of many things that need to be done. You need multiple media integration in order to really make an impact. I also created a cycle where I post on patch, then I promote on YouTube, and I take the patch ad, promote that on YouTube, and then I promote the YouTube in patch. So it creates
Mm.
an ongoing cycle of promotion. But we also need to focus on a couple other things like directory response, networking, and email marketing to really get traction. So Ron, on my behest, took the ad that I posted in La Miranda, and Ron posted it in his patch with copy and paste in Campbell. So now we've expanded from La Miranda to Campbell, and we can share the patch ad with you, Stephanie, so that you can post it in Benicia to digitize your reputation in Benicia with the advice in the course about how, building up and becoming the go-to person about the wonders of Benicia, which you are showcasing behind you,
Yeah.
in your Zoom,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, I like that. I will do that actually. I hadn't even thought about that, but it's great content, and it brings people together, and I like it because it overlaps, and I should definitely do that. I've also been posting on Nextdoor. I don't know if you've ever done that for that's just a local a local platform that has been fairly effective, but it's just another free platform, local, hyper local. So I'm enjoying using that as well. I don't do YouTube, so I'm gonna check that out as well. I have a YouTube channel. I just don't post those sort of things on it. I post just my videos. So I'm gonna check that out.
well, with the Monday through Friday program I have, you're going to be able to use YouTube as well. But before I go to Ron 1 second, let me kind of update you about Patch now and Nextdoor to your comment. Okay, originally when I started posting, I would immediately be able to take the patch ad and post it to Nextdoor right from patch and to Facebook and to LinkedIn and all of those. Now it looks like patch has kind of pulled that and that you can boost it. I think it's $2 for $2 to boost your patch ad. You can then post to Nextdoor and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of those right from patch. So
Oh, wow.
and it's only
That's huge.
$2. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Okay.
$2 per day or?
Well, you only have to do it once a week. So yeah, but the thing is, it's $2 a day, but it stays up on patch like forever. Okay.
Got it.
And so you only have to boost it. I used to I spent over $50,000 a year on classified advertising for over 10 years. And because it works, and it's all about the headline. And then once you grab them in the headline, then if that captures their imagination, then you've got them. You've got their attention, and they'll listen to you. So I know they work. I know they can be really, really effective. Now, Ron, I'd like to ask you about the process of taking the ad that I gave you and gave you the link to and reposting it on your patch, because you did it twice. You did both an event and also a classified ad, and that was great. So doing your homework. Thank you.
Very simple. Once you answered my question, should I post it on the events or on classified? And you said both.
Yeah.
So I had two windows up, and so all I did was just copy the title, pasted it into, so I had two windows open, one for the classified and one for the event, and then just literally copy and pasted all of your content, and it was very simple. But once I got the hang of it, probably took me less than 5 minutes.
Right. Now, here's the beauty of what you did is that you can now edit it. So you can go back to the two that you have pasted and you click on edit. Okay. And what I would like you to do is to add your own personalized story. Now that you posted it, so now let's make it about you, okay? And that you are the guy inviting people to this. So this is where we put in your digitization of your reputation, your story about FinFit Life. Stephanie puts in hers. This is how we make it all about you guys, and you benefit from your invitation, and you can blast it out. And it's free. It's free publicity. It's free advertising. So, like today, and I have created a 5-part step by step. I call it the 5-day week because there are 5 steps that I am doing every day, me. But I've broken them up into 5 so that people who are less aggressive than me in terms of promoting it can do only one a day, 1 step a day. And by Friday, they will have culminated into the perfect watch party. So, in other words, let me see if I can share the patch ad to kind of show you what I have in mind. Yeah, let me share this for a second here. Because what I'd like to do in the watch parties on Friday is to go here and look at my classified ads. These are all my classified ads. They keep staying up. And they have different headlines. La Marinda Speed Networking, introducing local business networking AI, food for thought, Nourish N Network for food rescues, news release. And, even though Patch has kind of requested $2 to be able to boost it, you can, and I hadn't looked at it or I didn't try it before, but now when you post a YouTube video, it shows up with the full screen of the YouTube video in the patch ad. So it's just, yeah, it's amazing. It really is. So you get, a YouTube video with your YouTube video showing full face in the patch ad, along with I have one that I posted that has 2 graphics and um, and a video right smack dab in the middle of it. So these are things that I want to be able to share. And what I'd like to do is at a watch party, we talk about now. This is the book cover that Patch actually Copilot created for me. This book cover, Nourish N Network, and ETV Global Media. So now, if I was in this event, this is the Nourish N Network event that we did at the food bank, and this is us at the center. This is us standing around a box talking and just sorting apples and oranges. This is the welcome they gave us at the food bank. And this is all the guys. There's 15 guys from the men's book club. We all went out to dinner together after the food center event. So now this is my watch party. Now we would go to Ron's ad and look at Ron's ad, and then he would talk about his own personal branding and the watch party and what we are doing here at the event. So Fridays, I think, can be a really big win-win-win situation for everybody. Ron, do you have if you can get your patch ad link, I will open it. Well, it's just like mine today because you haven't really branded it yet. But let's say you go in to edit it, and I'll show you right where edit is. I think it's right at the bottom. Yeah, right here. You click under more and then click edit. And now I can go back into this and I could actually type in, okay, then all you do is you click next. And this is where it gives you the chance to update or spread it out. And then you just hit post again. So now all of a sudden, just as a little example, I now have just a little piece of branding here about you two, but this could be expanded with your graphic. Then in the watch party, here's what happens. Now think about this. Now in the watch party, let's say next Friday's watch party, okay? Now everybody has a chance to do their homework and put in their personal branding. And even if we had like 10 people on here, if we gave everybody 2 minutes, okay, to talk about their personal branding, talk about themselves, talk about how they are supporting Nourish N Network, because again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And know, like, and trust, all of those things come into play. So and then we have, now I'm recording. So now I have a YouTube video that explains what we're doing, expands upon what we're doing. Now I can post this video about you guys into my patch ads. You can post it into your patch ads. And now we're really starting to get traction. You see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Do you think it's well? I would think that. Do you worry about it being too redundant from the standpoint of so you're going to take this and then repost it as a
No.
recording? No.
Oh,
Okay.
because the customization of your branding will make it unique at the top of it. We don't have to go into the whole ad every single time.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
We just talk about, okay, Stephanie's story, and if you live in Lafayette, and now you learn about Benicia and empty nesting, Ron's story of
Right.
going for a walk in FinFit Life. That's all we have to talk about. But the ad is right here. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road in terms of getting unlimited leads and traction. And this is a 1-2 punch. And it starts here. Every city will have a business directory of directory listings. And this is Lafayette's. It's free. The city provided it. But if you search business directory in Benicia or in your city, you're going to find one. It may be the Chamber of Commerce. And right here is mine. And you see it's got my phone number, which happens to be my cell phone. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have their cell phones in their business directory, so you can reach them directly. That means you can either text them or you can email them for unlimited leads. There are hundreds of leads right here in highly targeted, what I call directory response networking. Okay. So once you get them here, then you can move them over to mail softly. Now, this is a digital email marketing system, and the pricing starts at free. You can send right here, you can send 500 emails at no cost with Mail Softly. And I am a supporter, and actually, he lives in San Ramon, right down the road from us in Contra Costa County, and I am going to invite him to Nourish N Network I'm going to be setting up an event at the food bank. And there's a couple of food centers in Contra Costa County. One is called the Food Bank of Contra Costa County and Solano. And the other one is White Pony Express, and they're located in Contra Costa County. There's others, and there's also the Red Cross. So these are all things that I'm going to be using to get traction, really, so that we can really do our legwork and we can network locally. You can pull up whatever your chamber directory is in Benicia, and start to target people with an invitation that is pretty irresistible, honestly, because it's a win-win-win situation. It's going to be hard for people to turn it down because there's nothing not to like about it. And that's the genius that came out of the mastermind, the AI mastermind networking effect of the think bigger and grow richer with AI. So how do you turn it down? Because it's just a matter of them evolving into AI and how AI digitizes everything. And this is part of the future of AI and the future of you and me and all of us together. And like we've been talking about, the what's happening in LA with the devastating fires is just an example of how everybody wins. So the people who are in need of food win. We feel good about doing that, and we're having a networking event while we're there. The people who are running and here's the vision right there for AI Food for Thought, Nourish and Networking Events. The people at the center win with volunteers, or the Red Cross wins with more volunteers. The people who are networking around here and helping are really the big winners, to tell you the truth, because they get their branding about Nourish and Network, and that's what we want to do, is Nourish and Network for the people in LA with the Red Cross. The center welcomed us, and then you make friends, you create camaraderie. So it really is a huge win-win-win situation, and you're learning AI at the same time. So it really is the bullseye that has really come together and really brings everything together. Does that make sense? And I'd love to have your questions or comments about this launch today. And it's really a matter of masterminding it and bringing people together to help everybody.
I don't really have any questions. It's getting in and doing it. I think I'm comfortable enough now with posting that it seems pretty seamless. And Ron, I think, was saying the same thing. It just takes a couple of minutes when you get used to it. So getting in the habit of doing it. Do you have on that on Do you have an example of where you can launch into your YouTube video on that? Have you done that yet? Or you were saying
Yeah,
that
I have. No, I've done it all. Honestly, I've gone through the entire program to make sure it works, okay? And that I can do every single step. I use free accounts. I don't need, a single another person that I'm relying on who's letting me down. I can do it all by myself, okay? And
good.
so it really puts the initiative, the financial freedom in our own hands, the life freedom really to be able to learn how to use AI. And I start the way the week works is I start every Monday morning taking my kind of weekend meditations, if you will, of things that I've learned or thought about or what I want to concentrate on for my business this week. And then I go into Chat GPT networking. That means that a lot of Chat GPT has sprung Claude.ai, Perplexity, Copilot. All of these are the offspring, basically, of ChatGPT. So I use all of them, and I use them as if I was the CEO, they're my board of advisors. So I use all of them in a mastermind effect with just me and my AI bots, because everyone gives me a different take on things. So I'm at the CEO desk. I hear what Claude has to say, what Perplexity says, what Copilot says, and then I take it all in. And I actually use my right brain creativity to put it in, and then I listen to what it says, and then I use my left brain of organization to consume what it puts out. So I've really created a way to make my brain more clear, more effective, and really be able to think out of the box and truly be able to think bigger and grow richer by seeing things that I would not have seen without that mastermind effect of using AI. So that is exactly what helped me visualize nearly perfect networking in a win-win-win-win scenario. That all came out of the mastermind effect of AI mastermind networking. So that's the proof of the pudding that it works.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what I do. That's what I'm teaching. And then it's like practice. It's almost like learning a musical instrument. You have to practice. And, if you are handed an instrument and you don't know how to strum the guitar, you don't know how to hit the keys on the piano, it's garbage in, garbage out. But when you learn how to hit the keys, you can become, a maestro. You can play at Carnegie Hall when you know how to hit the keys in the right way. Cause and effect. That's what you get with AI when you really learn how to play AI like a musical instrument. The effect that you get is at a mastermind level.
Actually, Mike, two things came to mind. Here's an example of the third mind. Between well, actually in this case, the fourth mind, right? Because there's Stephanie, there's you, and there's me. So
Nice combination.
I think
Yeah.
Rich, there is a chapter on the mastermind principle, and what Napoleon Hill actually did was he created a virtual mastermind. And of course, this is in non-digital area. So he had people sitting at a table virtually or in his own mind. Let's say there's Thomas Edison, there's Abraham Lincoln, and he would sit down, and these are his virtual advisors. So he would sit down and he would ask himself, well, what would Thomas Edison say about this strategy? Or what would Abraham Lincoln say? Or anybody in history? And so what I was thinking is you could use any of the AI platforms, ChatGPT, Copilot, or whatever. So I'm thinking I would ask ChatGPT, okay, here's a strategy that I'm thinking of. Well, what would Abraham Lincoln say about this? Or what would Thomas Edison say about this strategy? Or let's say Andrew Carnegie, one of the biggest industrialists of his time. And then and then the idea, there are these different personality systems, not profiling, but behavioral styles. There's bank, there's discs, there's colors, animals. So when I'm creating a post, I would say to ChatGPT, okay, what if somebody is a top achiever? Or I would say, okay, ChatGPT, give me the 4 versions of this post that appeal to the 4 different behavioral styles. And I could build that into a post so that it appeals to all of these behavior styles. There are these high achieving drivers. There are these people who are people oriented, people who are community oriented. There are people who are very analytical, right? They want all the details. And so it's a way to really in let's say any kind of a post, it could be a text, it could be YouTube, it could be in Patch, that would attract the attention of those different behavioral styles. And I've actually done that for our company. I'm saying, okay, if I wanted to attract, because our company we're in a startup mode, but we're expanding people to help us expand not only in the US, Canada, this year we're going into Asia. But I would say to ChatGPT, how would I craft a post to attract somebody who's a high achiever looking for a different career option or side hustle? And boom, within 5 seconds, it gives me a post. So, the idea is I'm thinking, okay, I could create this virtual mastermind of people that I know, or, and could be historical figures. And I just thought of that during this session. But then also I have used ChatGPT to create four different versions of a post to appeal to different types of people.
Well, let me say thank you, Dr.
I like it. Yeah.
That's why I call Ron Dr. Watson. This is actually, folks, Ron Horry of FinFit Life. Now, we talk about how AI digitizes. Let me give you an example of what Ron just said. Now, in this Zoom meeting, I'm going to end up with a transcript, not only the video that I will post on YouTube, but I'm going to get the transcript. I then take that transcript and I put it into Claude or Perplexity or ChatGPT, and I say, okay, give me a summary of this hour-long meeting and boil it down, and I can turn it into a course, actually, that I can post on the Great Discovery course platform. And I can do an awful lot of things with it. But I can get the summary of what Ron just said. And incidentally, speaking of which, I have taken all of the interviews that I've done with Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor and Grant Cardone and all of those masterminds, and I posted them into my AI bots that I am training and using their most persistent paths to success. And that's why I love Think and Grow Rich, because it's what has worked the longest, what has proven over time, what really, really works. And this is one that is probably one of the most important or significant. So if you stick with the core principles and you follow those on a steady Eddie, step by step, with faith that it will work, because with the digitization of AI, there is a way to use it so that you cannot fail unless you fail to learn or quit. So it's called test, observe, adjust, expand. So don't worry about being perfect. You don't even try. Don't even care about it. You don't have to be perfect to start, but you have to start to become perfect over time. So today I went and I posted an academy course and they did not accept it. But what happened was they gave me feedback of why they didn't accept it that improved the course. And so by trying and failing, I learned to make it better. And now it will be accepted and it will be better. That's test, observe, adjust, expand. So if you keep with that faith and keep trial and error and keep improvement, constant and never-ending improving, you will get there. You will either change your mind or you will change your offer until you find the right way to make it all work. But every part of it has room for improvement. And if you just keep working on it and take that system and have faith and be comfortable in that system, then you can relax. Here's why. You can relax once you make a true commitment to something, not just a New Year's resolution or something like that. A true commitment, I learned from one of my favorite mentors, means that you will commit to that until it happens. You won't quit. That's a true commitment. Well, the second you make a true commitment, you're already successful because you're going to do whatever it takes to be successful with that. So I've made a true commitment to what I'm doing. It's been, a process. I'm learning every step of the way. But now with the help of this mastermind, AI mastermind networking, and really taking it up to a win-win-win-win situation of nearly perfect networking, I'm there. I'm not perfect, and networking's not perfect because it involves people, and none of them are perfect, right? And so I allow for that with nearly perfect networking. But now I'm fully engaged. I fully get it. This is going to be my life, and this is going to be my future. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about being able to help people and keep it going so I can help people in LA and not worry about not being able to contribute and keep my business going and growing at the exact same time.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, a big part of all of this, I think, too, is just passion, and when you
yeah.
find something, Mike, that I think that this is such a passion of yours, it just, you exude it, and it fires other people up, and if this was just sort of like a haphazard hobby of yours, it would show through. So I just think that's a big part of it too, is, seeing your passion through, and then all the other stuff sort of falls into place. So it's inspiring. And I'm learning a lot every day. So.
Well, you're inspiring for me too. We help each other. Ron inspires me. That's why I call him Dr. Watson, right?
Right.
Because I couldn't do it without him. And Ron, how long have we been after this? We've been at it for a long time, and we enjoy it, and we enjoy each other's company. And now we're really ready to take it. I cannot see a weakness in this. If I did, I'd fix it. And that's how I always approached documentaries when I worked at NBC, is this. And the reason my team won 2 Peabody Awards is this. I would always look at what is the worst part of the show as we were producing it. What's the weakest part of it? What really not very great? And I would
Right.
focus on that, not just to fix it, but to make it the best part of the show. I would look at it and go, okay, this is the worst part. I want it to be the very best part of the show. How can I take that weakness? In Buddhism, it's called turning poison into elixir. Okay, turning poison into medicine, taking the worst part and turning it into the best part. And you can do it just like that. That's the beauty of it. It's like popping a soap bubble. It disappears and it's gone. So that's why I have a complete belief system, but I've also done the laboratory testing with Ron and work out what works and what doesn't. And we've got it all working. It all works. And it can all be done by each individual at their own pace. You can do one thing one day at a time, or all 5 things all 5 days of the week. It's really up to you. So you post in to ChatGPT network, whichever bot you want to use. You post on Patch. I actually create YouTube videos while I am creating the Patch ad because I create them in Gamma, and I screen record while I'm recording. Now you can use Zoom to screen record. So Stephanie, you could open your own Zoom meeting, open up a Gamma, and create a story about Benicia, and you are screen sharing. So you are capturing that in your free Zoom account, and you have the recording of that. That is now a YouTube video about
Mm.
creating a course right in front of people's eyes. When they see that you can create a story with AI in an AI second, for the outline, and an AI minute to create the entire story about whatever part of Benicia you want to tell a story about. And they see that, that's like, wow. In direct response, that's the wow factor.
I guess I'm not, I mean, this is just like the minutia of it, but
Yeah.
so you're saying, I get that you can record the Zoom session, but what, like, and that would be something like what we're doing, but what, like, if I was doing a video or whatever of Benicia waterfront or something, like, how does that tie into the whole Zoom piece of it? I'm not following. Like,
Okay.
I get going out and with my phone and doing a video on the fly and posting that, but I guess I'm not seeing the connection with the Zoom recording
Yeah,
piece.
it's a screen capture approach, but like you said with your phone, that's good enough.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
if you just want to do that, you can do that. If you want to go into more of a deeper story and more expanded story, what you do is you open up your own Zoom, then you go to Gamma dot app, and you open the AI presentation generator, you screen share, and then you create a story. And
Hmm.
you doing the work. What I love doing, and what I ask AI to help me explain, and I'm going to be sharing it, is that what I do is I tie everything into everything I'm doing. So in other words, I'm creating a gamma presentation about a story that I want to communicate, about a course or a point I want to communicate. So I'm communicating the point. I'm also communicating how to create a gamma at the same time. So I'm multitasking, and creating a gamma is more complicated than holding up your phone and shooting a video, but that's what's popular,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. And incidentally, I have to kind of put this in. Uh, we can solve another big, big, big problem. And the word of the year from Oxford University is brain rot. And if you Google it, you will see that Psychology Today, Forbes, everybody has picked up on it, that constant scrolling mindlessly through your phone is diminishing our cognitive capability. It's actually causing us to become less smart.
Hmm.
And it's a fact. I mean, it's a studied,
Hmm.
fact of life.
Well,
And
I
so,
believe it.
and the solution is to share meaningful content, purposeful. That's actually the cure. So we're actually providing a cure for brain rot by providing active, meaningful content that takes action and that people can, get involved with and improve their lives and improve the lives of other people at the same time. So again, this just comes out of the mastermind. It's not me, it's AI masterminding that is creating this genius that is beyond me and becoming limitless. And when people learn how they can become limitless, like the movie, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Limitless, it was great, and become a lot smarter and see things that you wouldn't see, without the ability to use AI to help you to really think bigger and grow richer and be able to visualize things beyond your own human capability yourself, and really using one side of the brain to stimulate the other and creating another whole altogether, with creating a whole new set of eyes and vision on the world of what can be done. What I've learned is how to do it, and that's what I want to teach people.
I had
It's
another
great.
thing come to mind, Mike, just really briefly. There was a saying, "Givers gain," and it was created by Ivan Meisner, who built BNI. And what I'm thinking is, on a high level, in fact, I just came up with this question. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm going to say, how can I'm here in San Jose. What can I do to help people in LA? And just see what it says.
Mm.
And I think, with the Nourish N Network, food banks, and, there's such a amazing, humongous need in LA.
Yeah.
I read an article. In fact, I stopped looking at it because it was so horrible. Something like 300,000 people had to be evacuated. And, video.
Go to bed. I couldn't take it. I'm watching TV. I had to go into my room, shut the door, and close my eyes and get into bed. I could not take it in.
Yeah.
We have to hear with our heart the voices of those thousands of people screaming for our help. And I just think the Red Cross and Nourish N Network, with the Red Cross is the most positive way we can go and give them hope, Ron.
Well,
Right.
absolutely. What I was thinking is, I believe I'm more spiritual than any particular religion, but I believe, you can send out this positive energy into the universe and so on, like helping people in LA, that's one area. But look at small business owners, entrepreneurs who are really struggling in 2025. There's these huge layoffs, especially in Silicon Valley, of tech workers and even middle managers all across, the country. With AI, companies are really streamlining. And so by offering people solutions to, well, how do you grow your small business? And information can be so overwhelming. And there are different people who are pitching different programs or different ways to reach out. But when you come from a servant, I call it servant leader mindset, you create this energy attraction, and without even necessarily pitching what I do, and you create this synergy among like-minded people that say, how can I help? And you can say, well, here's how you can help. And then at some point they'll say, oh, by the way, what do you do? And then that
Yeah.
leads into a whole different conversation. But just you call it leading with your heart. How can I help? How can I give out to other people? And then the universe will respond back.
Stephanie, you're a lot newer to this stuff than Ron is, because we've been at it and he's been working with me for quite a while. So what is your take as kind of someone who is newer to some of these concepts?
And I'm sorry, in what regard, like in regards to
In
what?
terms of taking it in. So I always advise people when I had young people come into my agency, don't worry about learning, just be here and through osmosis, just by showing up. Uh,
Right.
and learning to point people in the right direction, you're going to gain tremendous ability, skill, knowledge.
Right, right. Oh, I see what you're saying and asking. Yeah, I absolutely. It's interesting because I've admitted to you sort of in the beginning where I was just like, like what, and so when you were asking me, that you were or mentioning that you were going to do a brief interview with me, and what did I take away from AI in 2024, and what do I look forward to in 2025, and really, I mean, this time last year, I barely knew what AI stood for. You know what I mean? And not to say that I'm anywhere close to an expert, but I just plug away at it, keep at it. You baby steps, you learn something every day. And it's weird because even though I haven't really been, involved in your activities for the last couple of months, it's weird because I've been at it still and practicing on my own and everything, not quite as posting as much as I would like, but today it sort of is all gelling. It's weird. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, I get it. Like for some reason, the light bulb has gone on today. And Ron, what you were just saying, I'm a big manifester and like put it out and bring it in. And so a lot of what you were saying resonated with me as well. Absolutely. And so no, I'm excited because I kind of have a new lease on this. I kind of feel like, okay, I have a lot more to learn, but again, the light bulb kind of just went on. So I'm excited to take this momentum and go with it.
I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but I said to you, what I always said to my employees, look, one day the clouds will part and you'll get it and you'll go, hallelujah.
Totally. And I'm not saying I know
did it.
everything. No, but I did. It's weird. I'm like, oh my God. So it's weird. Maybe I needed a break or something, but yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
You stuck with it is the key.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, I trust you, and I knew there's ton, there's so much to it, and I tried to not let it overwhelm me, and then just because it's just so easier just to walk away and be like, whatever, I'll get to that or whatever, and that's certainly not what I did over the last few months. We haven't really had a chance to talk, but I've just kind of been through the ringer and back, but so yes, anyway, I'm excited to see what 2025 holds for all of us, and unfortunately we're starting out roughly, with all that's going on in the state and such, but. I have high hopes and I hope to contribute. So
I want to give this caution to everyone. Harvard did a study, this just came out 2 days ago, about how AI can be used for fraud, and that 50% of all AI generated phishing, in the bad sense,
PH, yeah.
yeah, PH, are accepted. And because people need an AI education, or they will be taken advantage of it. So I want people to understand this is not like joining LinkedIn or Facebook. Oh, I've already done that. I'm not interested in that. Folks, the best way I've learned to put it, this is like an alien intelligence invasion. It's here. We didn't invite it. We didn't ask for it. It has arrived. And it is going to consume and be a very big part of our lives, and all part of it. Our cars, the way we get places, robots. So it's better to get on this through evolution rather than revolution. And by learning it a little bit day by day, I call it like osmosis. Just be here and you'll absorb and take in. You'll be learning things you don't even realize you learned. And then you sleep on it and it starts to go into your subconscious and becomes part of your conscious mind. So
Yeah. Or
Ron,
you run into a scenario where you're like, wait, I can use AI for that, and I
yeah,
never would have thought of that before. And then I mean, like Ron, I think you've had a few epiphanies during this hour, that, oh, I'm
Exactly.
gonna ask AI, and it just starts to incorporate into your life, your daily life. So hopefully not taking over our thinking, which is my concern,
no,
but
no,
it is
no,
what it
no.
is.
No, it's like if you were a CEO and you had a board of advisors, they're not going to take over your life. You're just listening to them. You're
No.
still, the cognizant boss of
Yeah.
you. Ultimately, you have free will.
You're filtering it. Yes, absolutely.
You are. Let me give you my epiphany before we let Ron wrap up, like you say. And I always love Ron to wrap up because he has such amazing insights because he has such amazing experience and wisdom. But here's my epiphany, and this is a very logical thing to think about. Think about this. When you see that AI can create content almost instantly and with almost no effort, if you like it or not, it makes sense that in business and in the communication industry, if you will, or need for communication. If you're a realtor, you have to be able to communicate about the houses you're selling, about yourself, etc. When you can see that happening, proof before your eyes, doesn't it just make logical sense that, wow, this is amazing. I want to evolve my business, even if it's ever so slightly, to begin to take advantage of that huge asset that I can take into my business for free. How can I adapt my business to take advantage of this huge new evolution in communication? If I have to adjust a little bit, wow, the payoff is just through the roof. So to me, that's the epiphany. It just makes common sense when you see it and experiment with it and then go, wow, that makes sense. I'm going to take it in. I'm going to try it. I'm going to keep my mind, my free will, but I'm going to use it to see how it can help me. Rod,
Yep.
what's your takeaway from today?
Actually, sometimes it's hard to know where to start. But I think on the high level, in fact, to your point, Stephanie, I think, I don't ever expect to know everything. I say, okay, I don't even have a goal to know everything. My goal is to learn the next best thing, and it's going to keep evolving. AI is going to keep evolving. But I think too, one of the things we can do, and I just thought of this too, is the way we can promote our get together here is talking to somebody and saying, hey, how's your business going? Like if I say Happy New Year to somebody in 2025, what's keeping you busy in 2025? What's your goal? Some people say, oh my gosh, I want to make it a better year. Um, I can say, oh, well, hey, would you like to learn more about how you can use AI to grow your business at zero cost? They're going to say, how do you do that? Well, we have this meeting on Fridays at 8 o'clock. It's free. Here's the link. Why don't you join us? And so it's that ripple effect. And again, being of service to people because people don't know what they don't know. A lot of people are concerned, have legitimate concerns about AI, which they should. And so we want to educate people about, well, how do you detect a fake photo for one? That was a post I saw. But also here are the positive aspects. How would you like to grow your business, whether you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, have a side hustle, or even have a corporation?
Right.
Grow your business. And AI is probably the ultimate business consultant. And the reason I mentioned that is that the thought that came to mind is there's this gentleman named Jay Abraham. He's known as the ultimate business consultant in the world. If you hired him to consult with your business for one day, he charges $50,000 for one day. I actually had a chance to meet him in person. If you search for Jay Abraham, he has a ton of free content. But I could say, hey, what would Jay Abraham do in this scenario? And boom, so ChatGPT would go out and look up Jay Abraham, and I don't have to pay him $50,000.
Can you ask Chat GPT? I guess you can ask AI to give you specific information
Exactly,
from. Yeah,
exactly.
got
You
it.
can
Got
ask,
it. Interesting.
Chat or anybody, Claude, any question, and it'll come back with an answer. But I think, the whole idea of especially with the huge tragedy in LA, we can be of service. How can I personally do something to help people? And then too, it's that storytelling of not only how can I help, and then share, and I'll share that. So hey, on Facebook or on LinkedIn, um, what AI responds back, I would post that on Facebook saying, hey, this is how I learned what we can do here in the Bay Area or wherever you are in the country, because it's getting national, probably international attention. And just posting, how I'll learn how can I help, and then I'll post that in different media, and it's going to create that ripple effect. You drop a rock in a pond, and then that ripple keeps expanding and expanding and expanding, and then people will share and reshare. And so, without any expectation of any personal gain, it will come back in a good way. So that's kind of my high level brain.
Well,
Well, I like it.
Time has flown. It's amazing. I like to keep things on time. You guys, I want you to get you off to your day and to your weekend. So thank you so much for being here. This is a
Thank
great
you.
mastermind meeting. We're going to learn so much together, and this is just the start. We'll be putting all the pieces together. So thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank
you,
you very
Mike.
much.
Have a
Nice
great
to see you
weekend.
guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All right. See you again soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.